going to be talking about anxieties in schools, and the reason that it's a social issue is because it impacts academic performance. So social issues, examples of them are like teen pregnancy, suicide, anything else. I Googled it, found a bunch of examples of social issues, and I chose to speak about anxieties because that's a subject I can personally relate to. And giving this performance is giving me anxieties right now. But I'm going to talk throughout the presentation about personal experiences about myself that connect with it. And feel free to raise your hand or just chime in if you have a question or if you want to make a comment. I'm more than happy to take that because this isn't just a presentation about me. You guys have feelings. Okay. Okay, so I thought this picture was pretty, or GIF. It's a pretty good example about anxieties. If you're looking at this, what do you feel? Do you feel anything? Because it could have just been me.
When does it stop?
When does it stop? That's what you're thinking. Does it make you feel anything?
When it circles?
Yeah, it could just be me though. Because I looked at it, I was staring at this thing, and I'm just it's making me nervous because I was like, when is this coin gonna fall down? And honestly, I didn't find this. One of my student workers found it, and they found it to make fun of me because they're like, look at this. How does it make you feel, Angeline? Don't throw candy at you. I'm gonna work on my throat. But anyways, as the question says, can you guys share with me when you hear the word anxiety, what do you think of? Anything? Yes. Panicking. Toss it. Okay, I'll get better at this throughout the presentation. Panicking. That's a good one. I'm gonna panic right now if I can't throw candy yet. Just kidding. Anything else? Yes.
Unprepared?
Unprepared.
Yeah.
Yes, I would be panicking, freaking out if I wasn't prepared right now.
You might want to watch out.
Show it to the camera. Good catch.
Like you feel like all nervous, like sweaty.
Nervous, sweaty, yes. Okay, you're describing me right now. Okay, those were good, great examples. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the facts about anxiety. And you guys are college students, so I also want you to be aware of how I laid out this presentation, because I remember one of the things that you mentioned at the beginning of the semester was how you kind of got confused when your professors wanted you to format your papers in certain ways. Well, one of the ways is this APA formatting, and learning this, I can definitely say, gave me anxieties. So just see how I noted all the authors, reference to people. I didn't make this all up. It's research. So this person, Dean, 2016, that's the author, they stated that anxieties is the feeling of fear that occurs when faced with threatening or stressful situations. Now, if you think about it, the anxieties that you have are not always due to life-threatening situations. Honestly, sometimes I worry about waking up in the morning and forgetting that I need to bring something to work. And I worry about it, and I worry about it. But is my life in danger? Not really, but it's causing me certain symptoms that your body reacts to when it's that fight or flight. Have you guys heard about that? Have you taken psychology?
Yeah.
Good. So this isn't new. Now, a fact that I found interesting was that women are reported to have higher levels of stress and anxiety. Now, I want to ask you guys, why do you think this is true? Why are women more anxious than men?
Overthinking?
Or stressed. Yes, overthinking. Okay, we do overthink. I overthink, but is this true for all women? Cultural, true. Now, what I found, which makes sense, is that society society constructs high expectations for women. So, girls, do you think you have it as easy or the same level as guys? Are you the same playing field? No? Maybe? Okay, I'm going to make my own personal judgment here. I feel like parents expect more, jobs expect more, just because you're a woman. And I can talk more about that. That's its own social issue. But that's good to know that fact. And like I mentioned, anxiety is your body telling yourself to stay alert and protect yourself. So really, it's a natural response. So know that it's not new, it's not crazy. We'll get to that. And lastly, anxiety is positively correlated with academics for college boys and girls. And this really means that the more anxiety you have, the more anxiety and stress you have, the worse you'll do in school, or it's going to impact your school. So this is why I chose to talk about it to you guys, because if anything, I can say that college was the most stressful time in my life, aside from high school. Good? Okay. Awesome. Symptoms. Like many of you mentioned before, having anxieties makes you feel symptoms physically, mentally, panicky. But to separate the two, the psychological symptoms that you're going to feel are you're going to be worrying all the time, this constant worry in your head about something, tired, irritable, can't concentrate, can't sleep, or you sleep too much. Sometimes that's a little depression related. Although I would think that's a physical symptom. Anyways, physical symptoms can include elevated heart racing, dizziness, sweating, and then it has all the way to stomach issues, which I can also speak to. I have a autoimmune disease. I don't have my large intestine. So if I'm stressed out and anxious, I'm going to have indigestion and diarrhea more. So, or even if you do have your large intestine and you're nervous, this is a natural symptom. I can also speak from that when I did have my large intestine and I took my driver's test. Honestly, before the test, I could not get out of the bathroom. I was so nervous. But I passed. Does that mean I'm a good driver? Go ahead. No.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, let's not ask my camera person about that.
See me after.
Oh, go ahead. Go to the next one. Yeah, thank you. Okay, now audience. Can you share with me, I know this can be personal, but share with me what makes you anxious. Presentations? Giving or watching? Yes, thank you. Okay, my throwing skills again. That was high. Okay, try again next time. Yes.
Taking tests.
Taking tests. Yes. And I can tell you, yeah. Taking tests definitely gave me anxieties because you go in there, you're like, I feel like I'm going to forget all of the information. So that was one of the ones that stuck out with me. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. What else? Come on, what makes you anxious? You talked already. Yes.
Big crowds.
Big crowds.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't like them. It makes me anxious. Too many people.
I'm just giving you a hard time. It matches your shirt. Oh my gosh. That's making me anxious. But I want to keep throwing them at you. Just kidding. Anyways, thank you for sharing that. And if you do want to interrupt again later and you think of something that's making you anxious, maybe the way I'm walking around, please tell me. I'm going to go to the next one. I'm not excited about these cool transitions on the PowerPoint. Okay, so what factors in school cause anxiety? So a lot of these things that you shared were school related, which is why I'm presenting. So I'm going to let you know it's normal, and I want to kind of give you some suggestions on how to deal with them. But during my research, I found just a bunch that stood out to me. The pressure and the high expectations you have from your counselors, your parents, your friends. You're constantly being compared to the high achieving student, or you have to be able to transfer in so many years. Yeah, that's pretty hard to live up to, or to accomplish. Homework and classwork. Yeah, of course, especially if you have homework and classwork with a job, a family, and anxieties, and you're just thinking about all these things. It's hard to balance. Tests, quizzes, midterms, and finals. Before I got into my master's program, in my bachelor's program, I had never had any tests and quizzes and midterms and finals. It was all writing essays. So I'm going into my master's program, and I have a quiz. And even though this is an at-home quiz, I have an hour to do 10 questions. You guys are like, okay, no problem. I got the book there, I got the internet. I freaked out. Because I'm like, the timer's ticking, I haven't done a quiz in like 3 years. So yeah. Technology. I know you guys use technology all the time, but sometimes new technology is hard. Peers, yes, you can compare to your friends or compare yourself to your friends. And I mentioned balancing schoolwork and personal life and finishing sooner. Are all of you going to finish here in 2 years?
That's the plan.
That's okay. I was here for 3 years. Actually, I'm still here, but I'm not going to school here anymore. So let's talk about test anxiety. Kind of wanted to research this and figure out some facts to share. Oh, and have you noticed I'm using Charlie Brown for this entire presentation? Do you guys know who Charlie Brown is? Okay, good. I was afraid like nobody knew who it was.
Inconsistency.
Somebody want to tell me? Why am I using Charlie Brown for my subject? Yes.
Doesn't Charlie Brown like worry about everything all the time?
Yes, good grief, Charlie Brown. You want more candy? Yes. Candy's always good. It'll keep you awake in class. Just kidding. Eat healthy. Wait, that was on the desk. But yeah, honestly, like I was trying to think of some visuals to put up here for you people that want to look at something besides the words. And I was like, yeah, Charlie Brown. He's the one who's worrying all the time. Good grief. And you're like, yeah, that's who he is. So that's why I chose him. And Snoopy's cute. Okay. Test anxiety. Characterized by high levels of stress during a test or an evaluation situation. So yeah, that's exactly what I was just talking about. Getting scared, going into the test and forgetting everything you learned even though you studied hours the night before. Having test anxiety affects how you feel about school. If you're constantly worried about taking tests, you're probably not going to look forward to going to school. You're not going to have a positive view of school. The same thing could be said about overall anxieties. When you go into class and you hear the teacher talking, you're going to worry about being called on. You get a stomach ache and you just, next day, I don't want to go to school anymore. It freaks me out.
Drop out.
No, you're not going to drop out. There's ways to deal with it. So, to prepare yourself when you know you have test anxiety, some strategies are to have effective study skills and effective test-taking skills. So, do any of you know what that means? Effective test-taking skills, study skills. I know when I was first here in this class, we talked about some study skills, how to prepare yourself. Remember? And I see you remember something from like 2 months ago. I remember we talked about time management, knowing how to study, just really getting to know yourself as a learner. And if you know that you, for example, I've learned that I learn material more by hearing it. So it would be super awesome and helpful for me to have all my lectures on tape. I wish I had my books on tape. So that way I can study in the car driving, hearing all of this stuff. But the fact that I know that about myself could definitely reduce my test anxiety, my school anxiety. So this is just a fact of you reflecting on yourself, which is what you guys all do here with your journals. So we're not having you just do these for no reason. It's going to help you throughout the rest of college. Lastly, some reduction skills more reduction skills to reduce your anxiety. Arriving to class which I thought this was interesting. If you're gonna have a test, get there exactly on time. Don't get there early. When you get there early, and I never really thought about this, you're there early, you're listening to your peers talk about the test, talk about what they studied for, and then you start to get anxious because you're like, oh, I didn't study for that. Or did I miss something? Or that person's talking about that. Maybe I missed something. So yeah, I never realized, like, you're usually taught to get to class extra on time, early. But just think how different it would make if you just got in there, took the test, didn't hear anything people were talking about, and left. You just zone it all out. Or not hear it at all. Let's see. Encouraging self-statements. This can sound cheesy, corny, whatever, but it's true. Instead of telling yourself, I'm so anxious, I'm going to fail this test, what if I forget everything, kind of being a Charlie Brown, turn it around, feel confident about yourself, tell yourself, I studied for 3 hours last night. Yesterday when I was studying, I knew all the information, so I'm still going to know it. I'm going to be fine. You can do it. Directly on camera. And I think this is important, even though sometimes we're like, hey, don't come to school looking sloppy, but if you're comfortable when you're taking the test, like they say in high school, when they're doing those STAR tests, even though I don't like those STAR tests, just think about what the teachers tell you. You can wear comfortable clothes, don't come to the test in your high heels, eat a good breakfast, get a good night's sleep. All of those really make a difference. And you're in college, so I know you guys are probably used to staying up all night, but just know, you will probably already know that's going to impact you the next day and every day after that. Focus on your goals. Oh, that's me right now. Except, I think he was a little more confident. So, anxiety caused by public speaking. I think the majority of you have to take a public speaking class. Have you guys taken it already? Are you taking it right now? No? The ones that are shaking your head, why aren't you taking it right now?
Scary.
It's scary?
Yeah.
Why is it scary? Share with me.
Oh, you're giving me anxiety right now. You're putting me on the spot.
Yeah, okay, just give me answers. I want to know what you're thinking, because I can tell you why I'm feeling anxious right now, but maybe I'm missing something. Why are you not publicly speaking?
It's hard talking to strangers.
It's hard talking to strangers, true. Yes.
I think if you, like, once you fully accept yourself, you can speak to anybody. Because, I mean, that's how I felt. Like, I didn't care what people thought about what I was talking about.
True. You need to be confident in yourself. Watch me throw this little one. Come on. What sport do you play? Basketball. Oh. That's not softball. You're going to judge my throw. No! So, yeah, she definitely, what is your name? Alyssa. I like knowing people's names. Definitely pointed or hit it right on the head. Feel confident about yourself. Now, I'm definitely confident outside of this, but for some reason my body still reacts in a nervous way. And that's something that you'll learn if you learn about yourself and the anxieties that you have, and you realize that it's interrupting your daily functions where you're like, okay, I'm stuttering all the time, or I'm breathing really hard, I can't concentrate. That's sometimes more than you can help yourself, and you can always seek a doctor's help. I go to a therapist. I have to try to deal with this in different ways, medication, but always try these other strategies first, or along with going and doing medication, taking medication. Okay, so public speaking. Like I talked about, it's a lack of confidence in one's ability to deliver a message successfully. Wait a minute, my mouth is really dry. Okay. That's true. You just feel like you're gonna get up there, forget everything, stutter, look stupid. That's okay. You believe that your peers are gonna judge you.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna laugh at you. Fear of losing train of thought or appearing uninformed, which sometimes I'm afraid of doing that, not even presenting. Just talking to a friend, I'm like, I think I'm gonna just forget what I'm talking about randomly. That just means you have a lot on your mind. And a way that you can kind of get over that, and this is also comes with being confident in yourself, is telling your peers. Sometimes it's easy for you to just tell them before the presentation, by the way guys, I'm nervous right now. And sometimes that kind of just helps you feel like, okay, they'll understand sometimes why I stutter during part of it. Do you think that helps? Just saying, I'm a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. And I like hearing that from other people when I'm watching them present and they say they're nervous. That makes me feel like, okay, I'm not the only one. So sharing your feelings with your peers, with your class, is sometimes good. And they'll see that they're not alone. And this is a quote that I took out of my research that I thought helps. Successful public speakers acknowledge feelings of, see, I'm just butchering it. Somebody else want to read that for me? Just kidding, okay. Feelings of fear and inadequacy and seeks help from others to make these anxieties manageable. So to be successful, you're not just going to say, that's it, I'm not going to take this speech class, I'm probably going to try to take another speech class, or I'm just going to do the bare minimum and whatever. That's just how it is. No, you're going to look for help, because that's what you do as an adult. You look for help, you find ways to get better. And coping strategies, I just thought this was good, is this practice in a room of friendly faces. So I sort of did that. I used my student workers, but it was hard because they were laughing at me the entire time. And that's just because they don't take me seriously, but I was laughing with them. So there's only so much you can do with practicing. I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was just going to say, like, another coping strategy is, like, while you're presenting, one really good thing to do is to focus a little bit on your breathing. Move around a little bit from one side of the room to the other. Don't always give a dead stare to the classroom. There's a lot of ways to kind of keep yourself calm while you're presenting, being able to convey your message really, really effectively.
Thank you. I like that. I like that. I don't have to throw candy at you.
I don't need it. It's fine.
Oh wait, he's the one with two monsters. He doesn't need it.
Yeah.
That was really, really great. That was a really great comment. And you know, I had never thought about that myself. I know that breathing strategies are something you can do to cope with your own anxieties, but think about it when you're in front here. I'm probably holding my breath right now. But if I were breathing right, then it would be a little bit better. But I have another story. And I feel good standing here. Standing over there just felt weird. Anyways, strategies to help cope with anxieties as a student. And these are probably familiar, I've probably mentioned these, but let's talk about them again to kind of bring it generally back to anxieties. Stress, primary characteristic of anxieties, you're stressed out. You get super, super, super stressed, it makes you anxious. To help cope with that, there's stress reduction techniques. To name a few, deep breathing, which I just mentioned, really good. Journaling, which Eric is helping you practice that. You don't have to do this, you don't have to journal only for this class. It's helpful to take out of this class and write about what your feelings are. Write about yourself, write about something. Sometimes that just calms you down. Kind of like going to talk to somebody, but you're journaling it. Or if you're not a writer,
You can narrate.
I was gonna say that. I was just trying to think of a not weird way to say talking to yourself. Talk to yourself. Tell yourself if you're in your car alone, or you can do it outside of school. People see you. Oh well. I do this to myself. Tell yourself, I'm feeling nervous right now. Why am I feeling nervous? It's because I have a paper due tomorrow, but am I in any danger? No. Okay. Talk to yourself, that's fine. Or if you really want someone there, a pet. I have 4 dogs. They're really good to talk to. They seem like they listen. I like this one. So I was doing some research and some ideas came out that weren't necessarily for college students, but blowing bubbles, just those kind of like thoughtless actions that take your mind off of your anxieties. And a stress ball. I liked how I found an article that explained why stress balls work. It's because the action of squeezing the ball keeps your mind busy and your thoughts are kind of taken away. I'm losing you guys. I'm almost done, I promise. Okay. Oh, and coloring. I remember when I first was diagnosed with anxieties, that's when the idea of adult coloring books kind of became popular, and my therapist pushed them on me. So I bought a bunch of adult coloring books from Barnes & Noble, and I was like, yeah, I'm getting rid of my anxieties coloring so much, and you don't realize it can cause anxieties. But I know people who are able to calm themselves with coloring, and that is a good strategy for them. Thank you. Okay, so a lot of these strategies I'm talking about can be are actually characteristics of being mindful. You're going to hear this throughout psychology classes, and the term would be exactly mindful-based stress reduction. Now, being mindful, that means being aware. And specifically in this situation, you want to be aware of yourself and what you're feeling. So that kind of earlier, that narration, I'm feeling nervous right now. I'm sweating because I'm nervous. That's being mindful. And a type of a strategy or practice to help anxieties is called cognitive behavioral therapy. And this is used not only for anxiety, but for other disorders, depression, obsessive compulsive disorder. It's really just turning a negative behavior into a sort of using positive strategies to change it, kind of changing your thought about that disorder or what you're doing. So understanding your anxieties, and this is interesting because you think of anxieties as a negative, but in being mindful, you're going to actually make anxieties your friend. And just remember that the anxieties, the feelings that the symptoms, it's not permanent. One of the symptoms could be panic attacks, which, have any of you felt a panic attack? Yes. It feels like you're gonna die. Like, imagine if a car was coming at you, how you would feel. But feeling that feeling, when a car's not coming towards you, it's terrible. And what I found that helps me is that you recognize what's happening. You say, I'm having a panic attack right now. It's going to end, and I need to let it happen. So it's interesting because when you're having the panic attack, you're like breathing, crying, hyperventilating, and just you're thinking like this isn't gonna end. I'm freaking out right now. But if you kind of just keep this in your mind, maybe you'll be able to calm yourself down. And I hate that word, calm yourself down, just calm down. But that's what I'm thinking right now. Yes?
Another really good way to calm yourself down is to meditate.
Meditate.
Yeah, and not necessarily in a spiritual way. When they were doing research a few years back, when they started figuring out that mindfulness actually worked for some cases of depression, they figured out that if you simply take 5 or 10 minutes or so to simply clear your mind, focus on your breathing in like a nice quiet room or something like that, and you do that twice a day, that can seriously reduce your stress levels generally.
You know what you're talking about. And I was going to put meditating on this presentation, but I feel like I couldn't talk about it as confidently as any of these other topics because I've tried meditating, and honestly, you have to kind of work your way up. 5 minutes doesn't seem like a long time, but when you're being mindful, starting out, and you're gonna have a 5-minute time span, you're like, okay, breathing, thinking about my body, and you don't realize that your mind is gonna wander in like less than a minute. So it's a good practice to take on, but it takes work, and I'm trying on that. But look it up. Meditation, mindfulness, very helpful. Okay, so I want you guys to know that schools, the school you're going to, college, any other college, education in general needs to address anxieties because believe it or not, their students are suffering from anxieties and they need to do something about it or else they're just going to look bad as a school. Everyone's going to be failing because they're afraid to take a test. Just kidding, that's exaggerating it. But I thought a good idea, because I've been seeing all of these ASBC activities on campus, why not have sort of like a mental health fair, make it known, kind of take depression and anxiety out of the shadows. I just trying to think of events in my head, but Psychology club, yes, yes. If we can do more with this topic, I feel like students would reach out to the services we have on campus, the health center, staff and faculty. It would make them feel more comfortable to talk about. And certain times of the year, you know yourself when you're feeling more stressed, the beginning of the semester, midterms, finals, deciding whether you should drop a class. Those are times when I feel like your teachers, counselors, just staff can address anxiety, even if it's just a handout. And it's not only up to all of you to know how to deal with anxieties. As a teacher, and I'm going to just talk about myself and learning about education, we're taught about how to address anxieties. And one of the strategies that I learned is that kind of to help your students cope is to verbalize your thoughts in the class. Which I wonder, does this really help? If before I'm teaching, I'm getting some things ready and I'm talking out loud about what I'm doing, do you guys think I'm crazy or do you guys think I'm just talking to organize myself? Crazy, okay. Well, okay, maybe that was a bad example, but anyways, it's the fact that the teacher's talking about their feelings.
I have a comment.
Yes, Erica, thank you.
I think you've done it in this presentation, where you've been walking through the presentation, but you're sharing also what you're actually thinking, right?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Because I read it and in my mind it made sense, but I was like, okay, how am I going to try to tell the students, try to understand something in an outsider way? Because it's like in education, we could talk and we're like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But yes, it's just me walking around kind of saying what I'm doing instead of standing here talking about anxiety. Does that help? I mean, it keeps your attention. Yeah, a little bit? Okay. A little. They call it being stress smart. I like that word, stress smart. Because when you feel like you're stressed, sometimes you just feel stupid. And you're like, oh my God, too much. But you can be smart about it. Okay, almost done. We're going to just talk about you as a friend. If you have a friend who expresses anxieties, how are you going to deal with it? Well, you're dealing with it right now. You're learning about anxieties. So maybe you're going to walk out of this classroom and be like, you know what, my friend Luke, yeah, he sometimes is kind of like anxious and nervous and shaky. You can help him. I mean, you may not be able to like cure it, but at least you can be a person in your friend's life who can help. You're going to encourage them that sometimes when they're having the hardest time with their anxieties, that they can seek treatment. Let them know that there's help out there. Realize and accept stressful situations, periods. Sometimes you'll know that your friend is going through a hard time with their significant other, and just know that they're not just, I don't want to say this word, being stupid, no, B word. They're just going through a hard time, so they're not taking it out on you for that. There's no random reason. Remember that everyone expresses their anxieties different. Encourage and don't discourage. Ask them how you can help them. Just think about that. How can I help you? And talk to your friends. Ask them what makes you anxious. Sometimes talking about emotions is hard, but find a way to talk to them. Oh, that was my computer. Okay, anyways, just back to the point of we're all different. We all have anxieties in different ways. And there's all the peanuts group. But do you guys get what I'm talking about? What makes you anxious probably doesn't make him anxious. Okay, good, last one. Last one is just questions. Any more questions? Although you guys all did a good job throughout the presentation, giving me comments, questions. I laid out the candy here. Come get it at the end. Anyways, anything?
Can you talk about how exercise can help with anxieties?
Oh yeah, I mean go games. No, I'm actually no. I'm serious. I'm serious. If any of you guys know me, the gym is like my favorite place in the world, and the reason why is because that's my outlet for my anxieties. When I go to the gym, hit it hard, lift those weights, I feel like I'm accomplishing something and getting all of these bad thoughts out of my mind. Do any of you guys exercise on a daily basis, weekly basis? You're an athlete. I hope you do.
Yeah.
But tell me, what does it make you feel when you're exercising?
I don't know. I feel like I can release all my frustrations.
Right. That is one way, releasing your frustrations. Lifting something heavy, doing a really heavy squat, and you're like, yes, I'm powerful. You know? Right? Okay. What else? Any other comments, questions? Good? Thank you.